Hi, I'm Pantazi. I want to take a look at a elbow drill that I've been teaching around the world for the past couple of years. And this is an excellent drill, and when you watch it, you're going to see the old traditional styles of karate, Wing Chun, Bagua, all the traditional styles emerge, but you're also going to see the newer style, the more modernized styles of Krav Maga. You'll see the Kyusho system, otherwise known as Defense Labs process, and you're going to be able to see all these actions with the fundamentals that were involved in each one of them that are the base of all martial arts. Again, trying to get away from the differences in martial arts and trying to get to the similarities. And we can do that by studying the human anatomy, not the art itself. Yes, of course, you're practicing an art, a particular art, whether it's karate, Wing Chun, whatever you're doing. However, you want to look at the similarities. The similarities is the human being. Okay, we have an anatomy, we have a physiology, and our functionality, and that's what the martial arts are trying to tap into, to increase their stamina, their invigoration of the system, the overall health, as well as your protective needs by reversing that and attacking the opponent's physiology and functionality. Now, you can't do that on the outer structure. You can break the structure, but the body and the mind can keep going. All right. What we want to do is shut down the inner structure. You want to shut down the nerve system. You want to shut down the blood system. You want to shut down the brain itself. You want to shut down the functionality and the physiology of the human. Now, this drill is an excellent exercise. It can be performed as a small kata. Now, we're going to build here on YouTube for you in subsequent screenings. We're going to build this into many different levels of drills. Now, I've just done this in Prague, Czech Republic, a couple months ago. I've done it in Ecuador. As a matter of fact, on the Platinum service, you're going to see the full drill taught out as it was taught throughout the class in Ecuador. All right, so it's with Spanish translation as well for our Spanish-speaking patrons. In the Patreon channel, I'm going to be adding three-dimensional explanation of the targets that we're after. Now, the tool is primarily the elbow. We're going to throw in a couple of hand strikes as well and clasping hands using the 6G hands, but we're primarily going to be using our elbow and the proper way to target with an elbow via your eyesight and your sighting system and your body mechanics. Now, as katas, I practice these 9 levels in each day, and I go through all of these 9 levels. Now, it's an excellent exercise as a kata, all right, because I'm moving my body in such a way that I invigorate my lymph system, my blood system, my nerve system, my muscular system, the joint system, as it twists the spine and the hips especially. Because what that does is it not only stimulates the lymphatic system, but it also massages the internal organs. It massages the vagal nerve, which in turn invigorates the body's functions, the subconscious functions, like breathing, heart rate, digestion, you name it, everything that's your body does that you need to live, but you don't consciously have to think about. All right, it massages those, but as a great tool also for gaining age, okay, is your back, okay, keeping your back in tone and keeping your spinal alignment. As you turn from side to side in this exercise, the dynamics are going to strengthen and stretch simultaneously the supporting muscles of the spine, upper torso, hips, legs, knees, arms, you name it, and it's going to invigorate it. And when you're looking at the spine, you have the spine coming down, but you have the nerves that innervate the whole body coming off that spine. If you're massaging all those muscles and you're twisting the spine to gain flexibility and also to maintain strength, then you're going to increase your vigor and your health all at the same time. So this is a great little exercise to do. That we have 9 levels of Kyusho targeting is even a bigger bonus for us. I'll be going through those 9 levels one at a time, and I'll be putting it on separate days here on YouTube, so stay tuned. But again, for the Patreon, we'll be adding the additional film of the targets. We'll go into detailed description of what nerve you're attacking. We're not going to be attacking the muscles. We're not going to be attacking blood systems. We're going to stay primarily on the nerves because the nerves are your best self-protection unit. The blood takes many seconds to activate and to weaken the opponent. The nerves are instantaneous. So we want to get that instant effect with minimal effort. And that's what Kyusho brings to us with our specialized tools and targets. Now, here's a bonus for you. When you look at your styles, you want to make sure that you're not thinking of your particular style in techniques, okay? The techniques are within every style if you look for them, okay? So a Wing Chun technique is going to be in a karate technique. For example, the Bonsao. Well, if you're doing the Hanchi Nidan in karate, you have the same exact action. You have it also when you're doing your palms in Bagua or many different styles. So it's not the technique. If you base your martial study on targets and then tools to get to those targets, you're going to see your forms, your katas, they're going to explode in value for you because you're going to start to see new things every day, new applications, and it's just simple targeting, not meshed together techniques or bunkai or anything of that nature that you have to remember for a certain attack. These targets are going to start to avail themselves automatically. This drill will help you with that in the upper body especially. We don't go into the lower body. This is just all upper body attacks. So you're going to really be focusing on all the different possibilities and targets. Now, we're working them primarily with elbows, like I said, but there's nothing to stop you from hitting it with your hands. There's nothing to stop you from hitting them with your feet as well, or your knees. We're working it primarily with an elbow as a more in-close fighting style. So we can get in there and we can still have targets available to us as opposed to just thinking that this is a distance game. Because Kyusho is the hardest at distance. It is in its prime in close proximity. From the clinch, from the close range to the clinch, to the grappling on the floor. This is where Kyusho really shines. So I'd like you to sit back, take a watch of the drill, look at the effect of me just going through touching these targets on the individual, and then if you're a Patreon, go take a look at the targets themselves, and I'll be putting up a film shortly on the next levels of this drill. Now, we could be striking familiar points that you already know for half. I'm just giving you some new ones. And some new applications, not just hitting all the time. Quick rubs and presses. Okay, one last part that's really long. You got it. So I'll move in with this. I turned it right into this maneuver. I come right up with that, dropped it, I came across with this. Now, I'm coming right down here, right on the facial nerve. Now, when you do this, you want to stay very close to your partner. Okay, so he comes in with this. You notice how I'm moving. Look at where I am. I'm behind him. Okay? As I'm pushing him, he has no ability to come in. Because I have him here. Okay? When I'm doing this maneuver, you're going to see that I'm not letting go of the man at all. Now, I'm just rubbing. I'm not compressing. Okay? With the rubbing, when you do this fast, your head's going to feel like, no. Okay? And I would like you to try it. Okay? Sorry. Don't go hard with these, but when you do this, okay, he doesn't know where he is. And I haven't even hit him. Okay, so I want you to try that. See, you could have done that, but it's... All right, don't forget...
Hi, thanks for joining the Patreon page for a little bit more detail. We'll be discussing some greater detail in the nerve structures we're hitting, whether it be in the arm and through here, or if we're hitting into the neck area, the brachial plexus down and through here, or the facial nerves, and to detail how to hit those and what kind of results to expect. So again, thanks for watching on Patreon here. I hope you like this expanded version. Okay, we can see the first two targets here within this dynamic elbow drill. We're taking a look at the bicep regions, both biceps, because we slam in to the first one, and then we come back armed on the second one. Now, we can see there's a lot of superficial nerves right in through here, but these are not good to target because what's going to happen is they're going to go into the soft tissue of these muscles, and they're not going to pinch against the bone to cause a traumatic surge of energy into the nervous system in the brain. So let's take away these muscles in through here, and we can see that actually instead of this small branch, which would be right in the head of the muscle, let's go back out here, you're right in the muscle itself. We want to be right in the pocket, right underneath this deltoid muscle group. All right, so let's circle this area right in through here. That's what we're going to be targeting. Now that area that we just circled is this one right in through here. You're going to be working with this nerve right here and pinching it right against the bone. Now you have this branch right down in through here. You also have that branch. So it's very easy to catch one of those. You just want to make sure that the person throws the strike a little easy, because when you're in practice, if you nail the bone in the middle and they come in very hard and you stop that bone, there's an ability to crack that bone there. That's the humerus of the arm, and we don't want to cause that kind of damage. This nerve is going to be resilient, but what it's going to do is it's going to cause dizziness, nausea. The arm will be paralyzed. There'll be a terrific surge of pain first, but then the arm will become paralyzed. It won't be able to contract or retract. This nerve here is called the musculocutaneous. Comes out of C7 and through C5, so high up on the neck. You also see it right over here as well in that part of the arm, using this nerve right in through here, doing the same thing. So with the muscles back on the arm, you'd be striking right high into this pocket. You don't want to strike down in through here. Also, if you struck down in through here, you're a little too close to the forearm, and that forearm is going to swing in at the elbow, and it might strike you in the head. If you clip it up here, you'll stop the whole body's forward momentum. That's the first target on the dynamic elbow drill 1. The second target is actually two targets together. I like to use the eyebrow nerve right in through here. Let's get rid of this muscle here for a second and zoom in. We'll turn him a little bit. This nerve right in through here, this little nerve, is called the zygomaticotemporal nerve, and it's part of this nerve structure as well can be attacked, this nerve structure as well. So by using the palm or the elbow, if I just wanted to target that with an elbow, that would be a terrific strike. It would blind the guy, turn the head rapidly, cause a shock of the brainstem, and unconsciousness because of that. But you could break this bone as well, which would temporarily or permanently injure the eye, and that could be a big problem as well. But that's just to turn the head. The main nerve that I would be after with the following elbow strike would be the root here of the facial nerve in through here. Now, we can see that there's a big plexus of nerve right in there. Let me get rid of that circle again. Okay, we can start to see that there's a nerve root right here for the whole facial nerve. All these different roots is right underneath the ear. Now, when you're doing the ear here, you got to be cautious, okay? A lot of people will just use targeting right here. And what you need to do is you need to really target in back of the ear. Let's get into this. what we're going to do is I'll point it out. I'll get rid of the skin here and then go right back into it. When you hit the ear here, you're going to be hitting it right against the back of the jaw, so you're going to be targeting this facial nerve root here. Very powerful nerve root, and will cause unconsciousness. You could dislocate the jaw, of course. You can cause whiplash. You can turn the head so fast to the dizzying and unconsciousness, as well as temporary loss of body control and motor function. So that's the secondary targets for the dynamic drill or elbow drill number 1. On the third section, the targeting is pretty interesting because you can I do another double attack as in the second section we just mentioned. As the elbow came across the facial nerve right in here, it can then drop right into the brachial plexus in here. Let's get rid of this muscle just a little bit. We'll zoom in here. Let's bring this guy up a little bit so you can start to see. We're going to be targeting right in through here. And this plexus is going to weaken the arm, disable the arm from the attack. Okay, and let's bring that muscle. You can see that there's a pocket right between these muscles. Now that's a pivot point. So once you came across this facial nerve right in through here, you just drop your elbow in. That's to keep the person from coming in at you, all right, with a dive or a waist tackle type of an issue. On the second part, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be turning this guy around. We're going to get right to the base of the skull and the back of the neck. So let's bring him down a little bit. Let's zoom him out a little and bring him over. All right, sorry, this program takes a little bit of time. Okay, let's get to the base of the skull. Let's bring him over even more because we're going to have to pivot right around here a bit more. Okay, your hand is going to be slapping right in this area to catch the base of the skull. We're going to see a lot of innervation back in there. Getting rid of the muscles and zooming in a bit. Let's bring him over so you can see him just a little bit better. You can start to see all these nerves that ride right up the skull. All right, we have the least occipital nerve here. This nerve is going to be the greater occipital nerve, and this one out here, which you can actually target also, is the lesser occipital nerve. All right, so you have the 3 nerves, main nerves, but there's 3 on each side, so you got quite a bit. You've got the lesser occipital nerve. You have the greater occipital nerve and the least occipital nerve, or the third occipital nerve. And why they call it least, I don't know. That's just the way it is. But looking at it with the muscle structures, you can see they're all exposed. Getting rid of the muscle structures, you're going to be slapping them right at the base of the skull to impact them on the skull itself. Again, shocking the brainstem and causing loss of consciousness, loss of body control, and also loss of vision in some cases. Temporary, but it can still do that. So that is your next target in the dynamic elbow technique number 1. The next target on the drill is this facial nerve right here, right up underneath the cheekbone. And you're going to be pinching this nerve up against the cheek itself. So you can start right in the hollow of the cheek and ride your elbow straight up. This nerve will impact this and cause quite a bit of confusion, unconsciousness, loss of body control, and severe dizziness and or unconsciousness, as I mentioned. Let's get rid of this muscle here. You can see it's got a long way to travel. It's not as long as you would think it is. By catching up underneath the nerve, you've got this facial nerve right in through here, which is called the zygomatic. And that's because it's going to be pinched up underneath the zygomatic bone and even back here. So you have this whole range of nerve that you could pinch up underneath. Now, it's easiest to catch it right in through here in the hollowmost pocket. When you come out here, let's bring out the muscles again. You have this large masseter muscle. So you're going to have to pinch it hard enough or hit it hard enough to go through that muscle and into the bone, which is, okay, it's easy to do. I mean, it's an elbow strike, right? But if you look at this hollow pocket where there's no real musculature, it'll be easier to take that nerve and pinch it against that facial bone. So that's the rising elbow that we're going to be working on this first dynamic elbow drill. Now for the next dropping elbow, we're going to attack the same facial nerve, but instead of pinching it underneath the zygomatic bone right in through here, what we're going to do is we're going to be hitting it down, so you're hitting down into the mandible. Now when you do this, you don't want to stay right up in this pocket right here. Let's get rid of these muscles. You can see it's a hollow pocket all the way to the teeth. Now it's possible to get this nerve and hit it downward, but it's much easier to come back just a little further because it'll be right on this mandible bone, and it'll be very sharp shock. Now let's bring the muscle back. You have this muscle group, and it's going to buffer this a little bit, but an elbow has the power to get right through there. So when you hit down and in on this nerve here, okay, with a good elbow shot, you're going to get past that muscle and pinch it right into the underlying bone and through here. So you're going to have a very powerful shot. Again, it's the same effects as if you hit this up underneath the zygomatic bone. It's going to be dizziness to unconsciousness. You can have a loss of motor skills, which means your body's not going to function as well. You'll be concussing the head, so you get a little shock into the reticular activating system in the brainstem as well. So that's the dropping elbow. After you rose to bring that up underneath the zygomatic bone, you're going to drop. So this is the main target, and we have two abilities to attack it within this dynamic elbow drill. On the final section of the elbow, we have a back to front type of an elbow striking in this direction here, and then on the next one we have a returning elbow which strikes back this way. So let's take a look at the nerve. Now we could still target this nerve, but it's in a hollow pocket up and through here, so it's going to be a little harder to attack. Let's zoom in just a little bit and bring his chin up. This is the nerve structure we want to hit right in through here. Now you see you have an upper branch and you have a lower branch. This is also a facial nerve, and it's called the marginal mandibular branch. Okay, and this one here is the buccal branch. Now both are attackable, so when you bring your elbow in this direction, you're going to be hitting it against the bone. Again, right onto this mandibular bone, or the mandible itself. All right, and that's in this direction, whether you hit the lower root or the upper root, it doesn't matter. And when you're coming back with the attack, that was when you were going this direction, okay? When you're coming back with that elbow, you would, again, could attack this way, or you could be right on this this nerve right in through here. And let's bring back the muscle a little bit so we have a little bit of tone. So you can see the marker. You could be striking this way first, and then you could be returning. And whether you hit the same nerve or the different nerve, it doesn't matter. It depends on the way that the person shifts their head in response. What's going to happen, though, is if when you strike this first one, easier to get than this lower branch, when you strike it, it's going to rapidly twist the head in this direction. Okay, so you're going to be coming back more at this because you're now braced back in through here. So your next target would be this nerve right in through here would be your best bet for the greatest result. And what that's going to result in is the same as the other facial nerve targets. It's going to cause dizziness to unconscious, loss of body control, and loss of body function. The person should drop. They can lose consciousness very, very easily. Their ability to fight is muted considerably. So those are the targets of the first elbow drill. I hope you got a little bit more detail out of that. We'll be bringing you the second elbow drill, which is a different dynamic altogether. Some of the same targets, or you could replace them with some new targets that we'll be giving you as well. Now, we could be striking familiar points that you already know for half.
I'm just giving you some new ones. And some new applications, not just hitting all the time. Quick rubs and presses. Okay, one last part that's a little long. You got it. So moving with this, I turned him right into this maneuver. I come right up the back, dropped it, I came across with this. Now, I'm coming right down here, right on the facial nerve. Now, when you do this, you want to stay very close to your partner. Okay, so he comes in with this. You notice how I'm moving. Look at where I am. I'm behind him.
This?
Okay? As I'm pushing him, he has no ability to come in.
Within that,
Because I have him here.
you're looking at it.
Okay? When I'm doing this maneuver, you're going to see that I'm not letting go of the man at all. Now, I'm just rubbing. I'm not compressing. Okay? With the rubbing, when you do this fast, your head's going to feel like, no. Okay? I never like you to try it. Okay? Sorry. Don't go hard with these, but when you do this, okay? He doesn't know where he is. And I happen to hit him. Okay, so I want you to try that. See, you could have done that. All right, try.